Hi, I'm John. My Mount Kenya Safari Club experience. As a young boy, I traveled en masse, together with my family, to many places. We used to go to Paris every year because Dad had an office in Paris at Place Vendôme. We used to go to the south of France every summer, but we also loved Africa, and we would go to Morocco, principally to Marrakesh, and every year go visit Mount Kenya Safari Club. Really, to this day, one of my favorite places in the world. My journey there began back in the 70s, when Dad had just met a very famous movie star called William Holden, more popularly known as Bill Holden. He met him on the SS France ocean liner at the captain's table. And again, Dad's knowledge and passion for wine allowed him to attract many famous people like Bill Holden, like David Niven, like Charlton Heston, who were interested in wine and built up a conversation and even a friendship with my father. So, one of the early times we traveled to Mount Kenya Safari Club, which is just situated on the steppe hills of Mount Kenya, the second highest mountain in Africa. And it's beautiful. It has big lambs, it has baby wild animals running around, and they have a very nice dining room. This is where the story really begins. Because one day when Bill Holden came, he invited my father to drinks. My mother was already nervous because Bill was known as a pretty big drinker, and my dad never shied away from some afternoon martinis. But what my mother was really afraid of is that she knew Dad was a little bit unhappy because in the dining room of Mount Kenya Safari Club, there were two places, one for non-members and one for members. While Dad was a friend of Bill Holden, we only came once a year. It made absolutely no sense to join the club, to pay that big fee to become a member, because the food was the same. The service was essentially the same, but the seating was different. And as I explained to you before, all restaurants have feng shui. My dad and myself today, we really care where we sit. So the story goes that Dad was drinking with Bill Holden. My mom was waiting at our cabana, which is a beautiful villa where my family used to live at Mount Kenya Safari Club. And Dad comes back after several drinks, a smirk on his face, and which turned into a big smile, which of course my mother did not reciprocate because she saw him holding a plaque with a golden elephant, also with a blazer that had Mount Kenya Safari Club on it. Yes, Dad had joined Mount Kenya Safari Club just to sit in the members area of the restaurant. Now, I remember as a child, my mother's face. A face I often saw that when I misbehaved, but this was far more serious. For the rest of the trip at Mount Kenya Safari Club, back in Paris, my mother rarely spoke to my father. She was so angry. And after my dad passed away many years later, and Mom really missed him, but when she would go to the basement of our Connecticut home and somehow come across or view that golden elephant plaque, her face would change. It would turn red, and this anger would come back because even though she missed and loved my dad, it still pissed her off. But I think Dad in heaven is happy. He's a member of Mount Kenya Safari Club. If any of my fans have a chance to visit Kenya, I highly recommend this, as it's a historic, beautiful hotel in one of the most beautiful places of Africa. Try it.